If you're watching this, I quit. Oh man. I have been putting off recording this video for 3 or 4 months now. I am not quitting YouTube. I'll be making content there. That's not going anywhere. But a massive shift happened in my life that some people kind of caught on to with videos and little hints and things here and there. But a huge change for me happened, and I now feel comfortable sharing it with all of you. Oh man, I think that I was not prepared to share this, and I didn't script any of this, and I think that's making it all that much more challenging. But I have taken a leap away from my business, from ZMB Media, and I have accepted a full-time job for the first time in 12 plus years. Well, what is the job? And then I guess I'll talk a little bit more about why and how this all happened. I am now the live event and broadcast producer for Mars Inc., which is the parent company of M&M's, Skittles, Snickers, and so many candies and snacks that you grew up on. If you're familiar with Kind bars or True Fruit, the frozen chocolate-covered fruits, I am now the person in their global headquarters who works on their live stream broadcasts internally. And I'm also kind of doubling up as the videographer for their global headquarters. So I'm working here in-house, actually like 2 miles from where I live now in Northern Virginia. It's been a very big change. Now, before a lot of other questions come through, I have to answer one: will you see behind the scenes video of these events and the live streams that I'm doing now? The answer to that is no. This company and I have an agreement on confidentiality, as they do with pretty much all of their employees. And so none of the content on my channel moving forward will be able to have any of that information. So all I'm telling you right now is just publicly what's available about my role and what you're going to find about me on LinkedIn. But outside of that, no video footage or behind the scenes information will be divulged on this YouTube channel from here moving forward. And there hasn't been prior to now. 2, if you're asking the question, am I okay? Yeah, I'm very much okay. If anything, I'm actually happier than I've been in a very long time. You know, I need to dive more into like how this decision came about, and apologies in advance if this is a little bit of a longer video, because this is a massive shift. I was very much the preacher for, you know, start and run your own business, and I still am in many ways. I'm also now more than ever preaching the fact that your mental health is more valuable than anything you could possibly imagine or own or do with your life. Your mental health is paramount. And so let's dive in, let's unpack. About 1.5 years ago, I was, let's call it roughly 10.5, 11 years into my business. And I made a massive shift in my life. I had gone through some personal things. I had been through a divorce. I had to sell what I thought was my dream home that I owned. A lot of things personally changed for me. I lost my dog. That was like more painful than anything else. If you have a pet, you know that like that is your loved one, and they are like the most significant thing in your life that shows you unconditional love every single day. So a lot happened. And when I got back on the horse again, so to speak, and I put myself out there in the world, I found myself in a relationship where I chose to move out of my hometown of Baltimore to Northern Virginia, where I currently reside and have stayed. And to be honest, outside of personal life and dating and all of that, it really was a fantastic move for me. A lot of my work was happening in Washington, D.C., so it made perfect sense to be closer and not to have to make that 2-hour commute with traffic, multiple times a week. So the move itself was the culmination of a lot of changes, wanting to leave behind a certain chapter in Baltimore. I still own a rental property there, so I still own a townhouse with renters in it. And that has been part of my investment and retirement strategy for myself, part of not being able to get traditional things like a 401k and matching when you're self-employed. Like, you can do that, but it's coming out of the business. It's not like the money is coming out of thin air like a 401k matches now with my employment. So part of my retirement plan as a whole was I did invest in real estate. I knew that was something in my future. And so I did save up a good chunk of change. I bought a nice townhouse. I got it rented out. And so that is something that is kind of mostly on autopilot. And then once a year, if I need to, I will go find new renters for that. So that was kind of part of my strategy. And then moving out of Baltimore, it was closing that chapter of my life. I had my studio there that I had for 3 years. I was in shared studios prior to that. So, but my own studio that you probably saw some behind the scenes footage of, and it was kind of the scenery for where I filmed most of the first year and a half worth of my videos. I said goodbye to that studio space. And when I moved down here to Northern Virginia, I really got a nice fresh start to try things a little bit differently. And it forced me to be more efficient and effective with my business, and to really take a step back and see where my time was being invested in growing the business and bringing in new working clients, and to really retest everything that I teach people and share with others that I have done over the years, because it took me essentially 10 years to become an overnight success. I didn't know how to do all this stuff from the get-go. And so it allowed me to put my nose to the grindstone, test things again, go out to BNI meetings, go to networking events, go to local Chamber of Commerce events, all the things that I share with you both in my videos and also in my online courses. It allowed me to really test all those things. And truth be told, they do work. There's very much a reason why I was able to completely move to a different state. I was able to get rid of my studio and downsize the equipment that I had and build a completely new network from scratch. So the proof is in the pudding. It does work. Where things started to shift for me is that when you do that, I was essentially reliving all of the hard work that I had put in over the last decade of building and growing a business. And it is extremely exhausting. It is something that I had way more energy to do in my 20s. I was way more willing to sacrifice those nights and weekends. I was willing to just do anything I could to work those 16-hour days, to get in more meetings, to get in more connecting, to get in more networking, to make things happen. So while I did see success because it became very efficient, because I couldn't afford to spend the same amount of energy and time on everything, and I found better ways of doing things, that is still quite a taxing thing to go through mentally, physically, emotionally. And so over the last year or so, I've also considered that if a job position opened up for me, it would have to be my dream job, but I would most likely consider taking it if the price was right. A large portion of the money in my business goes back into the business and all the expenses that it takes to run the business. So even if my business was bringing in $300,000 plus in a year, that doesn't mean that that $300,000 was going directly into my pocket. If anything, I was probably seeing somewhere close to maybe 150 to 170K actually going into my pocket after I subtracted all the business expenses, all of the taxes, all of the equipment that I had purchased, all of the investments that I had made to grow the business, whether it's a website redesign or paid ad spend or joining various networking groups and memberships. There's so many things that all add up. And so if you had told me that I could find a dream position doing everything that I love doing, a hybrid of both live streaming and video work, that I could join a company that is a $50 billion per year business. One of the wealthiest families, the Mars family, owns this business and is still very much active in the business decisions. I just saw the way that they treat their people with respect and dignity. And I saw an opportunity to take everything that I currently do and take it to the next level. And that's really what I wanted to do here. Is I wanted to learn bigger, better, badder setups when it comes to live streaming and broadcast. And to have that ability on the company's dime, in a sense, gives me a lot more flexibility, and it takes all of the anxiety away of needing to make sure that enough money is coming into the business to pay the paycheck that goes to me, and seeing however much money flow in each month go out, reduced by all these taxes and fees and everything. It's really challenging. That's where I'm at right now. I have been in this role since March 31st, so by the time that you see this video, it's probably been a few months. And, I'm here to still share my expertise from the business building and growing side of things. And obviously I've learned far more on how to move the business to a completely different state and essentially start all over again and do it successfully, and to make sure that the income doesn't drastically decrease when you do so. So I know that what I teach works because I lived it the last 2 years and I watched it happen. What I also watched happen, though, is a massive decrease in my mental health. There's something to be said about the energy it takes to move to a different city, to have to meet and make new friends, to be in a different relationship post-divorce. There's so much that I could share with you. It'd be like a 3-hour-long video. But I think that this choice that I made is probably one of the coolest things I ever did. Really, like this was for me. The way I've described it to people is, imagine being someone who shoots off bottle rockets your whole life. You understand velocity, you understand the math and the physics behind it. Imagine going from that to being handed the space shuttle. There's thousands of more buttons and things lighting up, and it still does the same thing, right? Like, it's still a rocket that takes off and goes into space. But now there are so many more things that you can do with it, so many more things that you need to know about how it functions, so much more responsibility in making sure that it all functions properly. And so that is a large reason why I took this leap. It would have taken an extremely long time to take that leap from being the guy shooting off bottle rockets to being the guy that's running the space shuttle. And to be able to take that leap in almost an instant, and to be able to jump into this role with tons of experience and expertise, is what excited me the most. And I couldn't have asked for a better company for how they treat their people, for the impact that they have on the world. Yes, there's some candy, so there's a nice little side effect there. And I think that, to be the broadcast guy for M&M's is pretty darn cool. So I'm making this video for a few reasons. The first is to update you on where I'm at. I try to be as transparent as possible on this YouTube channel and share my journey with you, because I want to teach others, and that's a big reason why I have this channel, is just to be able to share my knowledge and expertise with you. 2, I want to share it to reassure you that if you are in a business and you've been struggling, that the same things that I teach, that I've proven and implemented myself to keep my business going and to move it to a different state, they absolutely work. And so if you are, head down in your work, keep going. There's no reason why you should stop unless you decide that it's the right choice for you. The third thing is that I want to share that if you are someone who got into having a video business and you've had it for years, or maybe just a year or two, and you feel like you just can't quite figure it out and you don't have the energy left to keep going, I want you to know that it's okay. It's your one individual life to live. You're not going to get a do-over. And so you need to make the decisions that are right for you and for your happiness. And so I want to give you that permission. I want you to know that if running a business is not something that you want to do, or it's something that you want to do, but you find that there are so many other reasons not to do it, then I think you need to question yourself and reanalyze your choices and make the best decision moving forward for you. That all being said, this channel is still going. I am still reviewing live streaming equipment. I am still actively participating in events like NAB Show. I still work with amazing companies like Rode and Hollyland and so many others in this space. And this channel is not going anywhere. And if you've watched this far and you've been following my journey, or you are just willing to listen to me rant because you need something to do, I just say thank you, because it has been an insanely wild ride. I think I was looking at the numbers. I should be, at the time of recording this, just about to pass 15,000 subscribers. And if you had told me 3-ish years ago that 15,000 people cared about anything that I have to say, I would have been completely dumbfounded, because I want to teach and I want to share, but I did not expect things to go this far. So thank you to each and every one of you. And if you have questions down below, I would be more than happy to answer as many as I can. As you know, I'm very active in the comments section. And just know that while I can't discuss really anything in detail about my job and what I do there moving forward, I will still be staying very much aware of things happening in the live streaming world. I will be keeping track of new videography equipment, new camera gear, things like that. And of course, a lot of these things I do invest in on my own. Like this mic right here, that's the Hollyland Lark M2S, I believe. Don't have the box in front of me. Hollyland didn't send this to me. I'm actually testing this out myself. I bought it myself. So just know that I am very much still invested in making sure that this channel is providing you the most up-to-date knowledge of what's going on in this industry and how you can expand your knowledge in the live streaming space. And then the last thing I'll share is that if you are in a space where you are struggling in the business, if you want to keep going and you don't want to stop, I do have resources available. They're both online at streamingmastery.com. I have both the 6-figure live streamer course, which teaches the A to Z on the technology side of how to live stream. So if you're a videographer and you already have experience with cameras and editing and things like that, this will teach you everything that you need to know, as well as how to build a live streaming business. That is really what has kept me going the last 12 or so years, has been having a business that shifted into live streaming as a service. It allowed me to charge more money. It allowed me to essentially pack up and walk away after an event, so I don't have to worry about editing. I don't have to wait months to get paid. And so that course teaches everything A to Z, both the business side and the technology side. And then if you're someone who is just in a video business, it doesn't matter if you're doing real estate walkthrough tours, it doesn't matter if you're doing weddings, it doesn't matter what type of video you're doing. If you are a professional video person, the 333 Creators Challenge is a 30-day challenge that you can actually repeat over and over again, where I give you active homework that you need to do every single day for 30 days. I give you video trainings every single day for 30 days. I give you templates, I give you tools, I give you emails you can copy and paste. I give you all of the resources that you need, that I used myself, both in starting my business and then made it way more efficient when it came to moving my business to a different state and starting over. And that is also an opportunity for you. That's my pitch. That is the elephant in the room. I'm just going to share that they are there because some people don't realize that those are opportunities for you. And then of course, I encourage you to come back here to the YouTube channel and see me in the next video. So, a lot to unpack there. I'm sure there's tons of questions that you're going to have. I will meet you down below in that comment section.